Hello friends, this is Sarah from Storybook Designs, and I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about repeats, fabric repeats. We had a discussion on Twitter the other day via Curtain Chat, which was organized by TK Plessley on behalf of her client, the Curtain Exchange, about pattern repeats. And I think there may still be some confusion for those who attended, and for those of you who weren't on the call, or on the chat I should say, I wanted to explain it to you here and give you a little educational lesson. So I'm going to start with this fabric over here. This is a beautiful cravat fabric. And what is a repeat? A repeat is where the pattern repeats itself. So what we want to do when we're making draperies or making anything, even in upholstery for that matter, we want to plan how much fabric that we need based on our fabric repeats. So we need to know what this measurement is. So we're going to start at the beginning of one pattern and then go all the way down to where that pattern repeats itself again. So this pattern, this fabric, has a 35.5-inch repeat, which is a really large repeat. Over in this next fabric here, which is a Lee Joffa, actually, I believe it's Laura Ashley for Lee Joffa. This fabric has a pretty good size repeat as well. So measuring this one, it's about 18 inches from point to point where the pattern repeats itself again. One of the areas that may have been confusing in the call the other day, or the chat the other day, was that there may have been an idea floating around that stated that you don't want to use large repeats for draperies or anything where the fabric is going to be gathered up and folded. But really, that isn't the concern. What you really want to take into consideration then is really the scale of the pattern. This pattern is enormous. Overall, this fabric pattern is a huge scale. Versus this fabric, the embroidered one, is a large scale pattern, but there's a lot more open space. This is going to be absolutely gorgeous as drapes. In fact, it is gorgeous as drapes because I made some in it. And it's absolutely beautiful. The fact that that has a large scale works really well for the draperies and for the look that we wanted. This fabric over here, you just have to take into consideration that when you put that up and turn that into draperies, that you're not really going to be seeing the pattern, you're going to be seeing more of color. So if that works for you, then it works. So it's just a consideration to keep in mind. It isn't a rule. So there is a difference between the scale of the pattern and the repeat. The repeat is simply the measurement of where that particular pattern repeats itself over and over in the design. Some other fabrics that I have here to show you today is this faux silk, which is a small scale pattern and a medium-sized repeat. Measuring this here from point to point, I have a 13-inch repeat. And as you can see with this pattern here, this would also be beautiful gathered up as draperies. A couple more that I have on the wall over here for you. I have this embroidered linen, which this, if I measure this pattern, has an 18-inch repeat, which is a large repeat. But again, this is a lot of open space. It's a small scale pattern and it works beautiful in draperies. The next panel I have here is also an 18-inch repeat. Yes, actually, sorry, 13-inch repeat. But this is actually a large scale pattern. But it's has a overall surface design and works beautifully again in drapes. This would be just as beautiful if it was flat on a slipcover or an upholstery, but it works gorgeous as a drapery as well. One last example is this very large scale fabric. I don't have enough here to measure the repeat for you, but I'm pretty sure from memory that this is a 36-inch repeat. And I think this looks fabulous as a balloon shade, and just centering the different patterns, it makes something that's really unusual. So you want to use your repeats as a means to calculate your yardage. You need to consider your repeats, but your repeat itself is not going to determine what will best be made out of that fabric. That's a personal decision, and most of that is going to play off of the scale of the pattern. So that is all for today. I hope that clears up any confusion that may have existed on repeats, and I will see you next time. Thank you.